Good morning, students. So today we are discussing about ninth class biology, chapter 9, adaptations in different ecosystems. So uh, adaptations. What is a habitat? Is a tree habitat only for a crowd? In what way an ecosystem is different from habitat? So here, what is a habitat? A place where the organism is living is called a habitat. A tree is only for a crow as a habitat means not. So a tree is the habitat for several organisms. Several organisms. In what way an ecosystem is different from habitat? So habitat is the place where the organism is live, but ecosystem where the living things and non-living things are present. So you can take variety kind of ecosystems are there. Variety kind of ecosystems are there. These ecosystems aquatic ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem is again divided into two types: freshwater ecosystem, marine ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem again divided into two: lotic ecosystem, lentic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem is mainly three types. That is grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem, forest ecosystem. So only finally you have to keep in your mind, ecosystem generally consists two types of things: living things and non-living things. Living things and non-living things. So here you can see that why they given when you go to that mangroves. So here there will be when you take here they given mangroves. Mangroves are the group of plants which grow in salty soils or salty water soils. Example, Avicennia bruguiera. So here they given mangroves. So they, because of they have evolved to have a curiously appearing projections from their roots called pneumatophores. So this is, you have to keep in your mind, is most important here. Pneumatophores are nothing but respiratory roots. P is the silent, pneumatophores. So these are developed from the roots which are present in the under. They comes up above the soil. So these, because of not to get oxygen when they are living in the salty soil, so to get oxygen, the roots of these plants is for example, this is the stem, but roots are come ups. This is the earth and the roots are comes up. So this is the stem. These are pneumatophores. So for they getting air, they should come up. So breathing aids or respiratory aids are pneumatophores. So pneumatophores are the special types of roots which comes up above the soil for taking the air. So this is you have to keep in your mind. This type of roots present in only mangroves, example Avicennia bruguera. This. These are aerial roots developed from the lateral roots that are grown near the surface, protrude up to 12 inches out of the soil and sediment. They aid the plants to maintaining adequate root respiration in saline, marshy environment. So, just now already I said these pneumatophores are respiratory roots. These are help to for respiration, for taking air. They are comes from the under the ground of the roots as a lateral roots. So they are the respiratory roots. Next here, I have seen this plant. I think so. This is the aloe vera plant, which is grown usually the the main habitat of this plant is desert, but because of its medicinal value and some of the beliefs, we are growing in front of the houses, in corridor. Why? Because it is used as a medicine. So you know that, you see that the leaves of these plants are filled with mucilage. So whatever you see the sticky substances, and the liquid part is called mucilage. So they adopted this character, water storing, as a mucilage. If even though in summer, if even though not to get water in the form of rainy, so they can survive because of they stored in their parts water in the form of mucilage. That is in Telugu kalabanda, in English aloe vera. So next here, so because of it is growing in the desert area, it is called xerophytes. And mainly you can see that think and discuss here. Can you give some examples of fleshy leaf plants? Why fleshy leaf plants means here? So kalabanda is best example. Why xerophytes plants do not have broad leaves? For this question answer, if the xerophytes like aloe vera, mainly opensia, if it is have the broad leaves, what happen? In the leaves stomata are present, so water is escapes, so that to prevent the water loss, because of their living in the desert, area, so water scarcity is there, so that if they have the leaves, so water is escapes from their parts to atmosphere. Finally they won't find out the water in the underground. Why? Because they are living in the desert area, so that they do not have any broad leaves. So keep in your mind, the desert plants do not have any broad leaves. When you take the opensia leaf, so already you've seen this, the opensia plant like this, the opensia plant, but these are called stem, but they are how? Like a leaf, stem modified to leaf, but leaf modified to spine, leaves are modified to spine. This is you have to keep in your mind. ఓపెన్సియాలో ఇది ఓపెన్సియా, దీన్ని బ్రహ్మజముడు అంటాము. ఈ ఓపెన్సియాలో మనకి జనరల్గా ఈ ఓపెన్సియా ప్లాంట్ జనరల్గా మనకి లీఫ్ లాగా ఉండేటువంటి వాటిని, అదేంటిది అంటే స్టెమ్. మరి స్టెమ్ ఏ విధంగా మారింది అంటే లీఫ్ లాగా మారింది. మరి లీవ్స్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయి అంటే థార్న్స్ ముళ్ళుగా మారినాయి. మరి లీవ్స్ ముళ్ళుగా మారడానికి రీజన్ ఏంటి అంటే, లీవ్స్ ఒకవేళ పెద్దగా ఉంటే ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ జరుగుతుంది, అంటే వాటర్ లాస్ అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి లీవ్స్ అనేది స్పైన్గా ఉండడం వలన, ముళ్ళుగా ఉండడం వలన ట్రాన్స్పిరేషన్ అనేది జరగదు, అంటే వాటర్ లాస్ అనేది జరగదు. కాబట్టి డెజర్ట్ ప్లాంట్స్ మ్యాక్సిమము లీవ్స్ను కలిగి ఉండవు. లీవ్స్ ఉన్న ముళ్ళులాగానే ఉంటాయి. లీవ్స్ ఉన్నా కూడా ముళ్ళులాగానే ఉంటాయి. ఇది మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. సో అగేవ్ అమెరికానా, కిత్తనారా, ఇక్కడ ఇంకొక ప్లాంట్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది థింక్ అండ్ డిస్కస్లో. అది అగేవ్ అమెరికానా, ద కంప్లీట్ నేమ్ ఈజ్ కిత్తనారా. It is a xerophytic plant, grows as a fence around crop fields in some areas or state. Actually, those places are not a desert. How can they grow? So here, these Kittanara or Agave americana, these plants is usually grown in surrounding the crop plants as a fencing. So next, let us take that. Do you know about details of bamboo tree? So the trunk is swollen, and what do you think it contains? It stores water in its trunk and survives the scorching heat of dry seasons. So this bamboo baobab, so here the given baobab. So this is the baobab tree, which stores it centrally water so that it can survive in the summer season, water not to last. So it stores in the trunk water. In the same way, you can see this picture, it is cactus. This cactus also stores water in the form of mucilage, so that it is greenery, even though it is living in the desert area. So the plants are seen in calling living stones. So this is already you observed in villages. It is you can see in Telugu we should call ava putnalu, and ఇక్కడ మనం చూస్తున్నాము లివింగ్ స్టోన్స్ అంటాం. ఇవి లీవ్స్ పెద్దగా ఉండకుండా ముడుచుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. ఒక బాల్ లాగా లీవ్స్ ముడుచుకుంటాయి. అందుకే వీటిని ఒక స్టోన్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఎందుకు లీవ్స్ ఈ విధంగా కావాలంటే, లీవ్స్ పెద్దగా ఉంటే ఏమవుతుందంటే, లీవ్స్లో స్టొమాటో ఉంటే ఏంటంటే వాటర్ లాస్ అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి వాటర్ ప్రివెంట్ చేయడం కోసం అవి అడాప్టేషన్ చేసుకుంటాయి అన్నమాట, లివింగ్ స్టోన్స్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ స్వోలెన్ లీవ్స్ adapted to desert conditions to minimize water loss and storing water. These are also called pebble. So these living stone plants are also called pebble. So here they given the picture. Plants, each pebble is actually a leaf with a cut window that lets light. So already in villages you've seen this one, అవపుట్నాలు ఇన్ తెలుగు. మనం చిన్నప్పుడు మనం అంతా కూడా బాగా చూస్తుంటాం, వీటితో ఆట కూడా ఆడుకుంటూ ఉండేవాళ్ళం. సో వీటిని అవపుట్నాలు అని అంటారు. అదే జనరల్గా పిలుస్తారు పల్లెటూర్లలో. జనరల్గా వీటిని ఫెబల్ అని కూడా అంటాము, లివింగ్ స్టోన్ అని కూడా అంటాము. ఇవి ఎందుకు ఈ విధంగా ఉండాల్సిన పరిస్థితి ఎప్పుడంటే, కేవలం వాటర్ను ప్రివెంట్ చేయడం కోసమే. ద స్టోన్ లైక్ అపియరెన్స్ deceive the animal and saves from its being eaten. And also if because of it is leaves are actually folded part, so no other animal can see that. So other animal can feel that it is a stone, so that the other animals will not eat those. Why? Because they are like as a stone. This is another adaptation of this living stone. ఈ లివింగ్ స్టోన్ సో రాళ్ళలాగా అంటే ఉండడం వలన జనరల్గా మిగతా యానిమల్స్ అన్నీ కూడా తినడానికి వచ్చినప్పుడు ఆ స్టోన్స్ అని చెప్పేసి అలా వదిలేస్తాయి అన్నమాట. అంటే ఆ స్టోన్ లాగా మారడం అనేది ఒక అడాప్టేషన్ అనమాట ఇక్కడ. సో ఇది కూడా మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చేసి జీరోఫైట్స్ గ్రోన్. Nowadays, many xerophytes are grown as ornamental plants in a pots at home. Some plants, have flowers with bright color petals. Nowadays, these kind of plants are used as a gift for birthdays and other occasions also. Like plant adaptations can be seen in animals also. What adaptations can we see in camel, and in how do they help? So here what type of what type of characteristics we can see in camel to adapt to those desert conditions? Means hump, long eyelashes, and nostrils, long eyelashes, long legs.
పడవ గురించి చెప్తున్నాం, మొత్తం ఎడారి పడవ గురించి.
So camel it has camel
పడవ, ఎడారి పడవ.
it is another name commonly called as
boat.
desert boat. Why? Because it has some characteristics. So here they are given the first characteristics: hump, stores fat for later use. So this is the hump. This is the hump of the camel, which stores the fat for other purposes. And when you see the eyelashes long, why? Because not to fall sand into their houses. Eyes. So next, long legs. Why? Because they are moving in desert area, more hot conditions. So because of long legs, not to get heat to their abdomen, so that they have the longer legs. And nostrils close voluntarily to protect from blowing sand. So nostrils they close usually because of not to enter any dust particles into the nostrils. Usually the nostrils will be closes voluntarily to protect from blowing sand. So do all animals living in desert conditions show adaptations? Why some animals have scales on their body? Why the animals that lives in burrows usually wander during night time only? So later we discuss this one.